as the budget impact goes, but Pankaj will be keeping that very, very close watch on the Nifty that is inching towards its 9,000 mark. It, of course, did touch its lifetime high, but just a wee bit earlier in the day. 8996.80 is what we've touched today, as against 8996.60. So technically, we've touched a record high, but 9,000 is still a little bit away. Let me now go across to our special guest on our segment Rebooting India, Vivek Gupta, partner of BMR Advisors, to talk about the big boost to the infrastructure space that we got in the budget. Vivek, good to have you here on the show. We, of course, saw that the finance minister decided to give a big boost to infrastructure, something which was expected. A number of measures announced, including a fund as well as bonds and that public spending that will go into the infrastructure space. Do you think it's good enough, and what, according to you, stands out really as far as this infrastructure boost is concerned?
So I think 3-4 things, Shweta, have been done for infrastructure in this budget. And we should read this as part of the government's consistent thinking on what they want to do with infrastructure spending. I think it started off with a rail budget where a very ambitious target of investment of 8.5 lakh crores was laid out. Post that, the single biggest change that I see is that they're talking about changing the norms of public-private partnership. So if we see how PPP has evolved over the last decade or so, one would see that not too much investment has flown under the PPP route. The government is now talking about taking higher risks in the PPP framework so as to encourage more private sector participation for public-private partnership projects. And that's why they're talking about being able to raise more money for investment in infrastructure. So that I call the single biggest change that they've done, and probably part of the 8.5 lakh crores that they think they will be able to raise on the railways front would also come by virtue of the fact that they would change the PPP model, as it were. So that's one big change.
All right, Vivek, it's important you mention the PPP model, the private-public partnership model, because, that's really something that private players say that it's something that the government has tried to push hard but has failed to take off. What, according to you, are the reasons why PPP hasn't taken off in true spirit and form so far?
See, government contracts typically have been very tough to do. The entire contracting structure within the government has been heavily loaded in favor of the government. So which essentially means, if we look at the PPP models that have emerged thus far, large percentage of the project risk sits with the private investor. The government does not partake in that risk to a meaningful, substantial degree.
All right, Vivek, if I could just interrupt you there. Apologies, Vivek. 9,000 on the Nifty. 9,000 on the Nifty has been achieved. Nifty hitting 9,000 for the first time ever. And yes, it's a crucial psychological mark that has been achieved for the Nifty. 9,003 points. So that's, of course, an all-time high. And importantly, that level that we've been watching out for very, very crucially all this while. Is it going to be an upward movement straight off from here? How important is this psychological 9,000 mark? And what has the journey been like from 8,000 to 9,000? Pankaj Poddar is standing by with all that data, all the statistics. So Pankaj, you clearly look very, very excited. It is a high there for the markets, just like India is on a high in the world of cricket. The markets also continuing to move ahead and Nifty hitting 9,000 for the first time ever. Let's take a look at some of those big movers on the Nifty. HDFC, Bajaj Auto, Sun Pharma, Tech Mahindra, Tata Power, all of those counters showing some smart gains today. But Pankaj, if you could tell us about that journey, how long has it taken the Nifty to go from 8,000 to 9,000? Which counters are the ones that have gained the most in that journey?
So let's first look at the journey, Shweta. Firstly, 9,000, first time ever, definitely, a